Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the player ratings, Everton 0, Aston Villa 0 today at Goodison Park. Another goalless draw for the Toffees, a hard-fought performance, a good point, all things considered, I suppose you would say. Both teams having big chances, the biggest for me of the game falling to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who simply has to do better with his one-on-one chance. But Villa had a couple of opportunities as well. It wasn't just a complete, dominant performance by Everton. Villa had their chances as well and maybe feel a little bit aggrieved to have not come away with anything. So a point, probably the fair result. Not ideal, given the fact that we haven't won a game of football for so long and we really needed a win today, and I felt that Villa at times certainly were there for the taking, and it would have been nice for us to have gotten those 3 points. But ultimately, as I said, a draw isn't the worst result in the world. We take it and we move on, and hopefully we can go and pick up 3 next time out. Of course, this is the player ratings. It is the show where we give every player a rating between 1 and 10. 1 obviously being absolutely horrendous and 10 being fantastic. This is, of course, brought to you, as always, by FanHub. Go down in the description, check out FanHub if you haven't already. It's a fantastic free app. As you can see, you can predict your starting 11. The more predictions you get right, the more points you win, you can exchange for various different things like items of clothing, things like pints of beer, things like stickers and stuff like that as well. So get over there, completely free. Follow us over there at TheMightyBlues as well. That would mean a huge amount to me. Anyway, let's get straight into it. In goal, then Jordan Pickford. Yeah, not a lot to do, not a massive amount to do today for Jordan. Couple of routine saves, I suppose you would expect him to make. Couple of routine collects that you would expect him to make as well. He did have one moment where he ran out from a corner and punched the ball out instead of coming and just collecting it and picking it up, which I thought was the more sensible option, but B, easier option as well. But he didn't. He decided to punch it out instead, and that was a little bit confusing. His distribution at times, good. I think more often than not, it was pinpoint. It was better than what it has been in recent weeks. I'm going to give Jordan a 6.5. Ultimately, I don't think he was hugely involved in the game. I don't think he was massively involved in the outcome of the game. He made a couple of saves that, as I said, you would expect him to make. And in a game like this where there's not a lot of chances and there's not a lot of opportunities for either side, you need your goalkeeper to be strong in those moments where he's called upon, and Jordan was strong in those moments where he was called upon. So yeah, left back then, Vitaly Mykolenko. I'm gonna give Vitaly an 8. I thought he was really solid today. Obviously played the majority of the game with a bandage over his head after picking up an injury, and didn't shy out of any challenge, didn't shy out of any header, didn't shy out of any 50-50 at that moment. Often when a player goes through an injury like that, especially an injury to the head, it can sometimes put them off for the rest of the game and have them play a little bit more reserved and be a little bit shy. But that wasn't the case with Vitaly Mykolenko today. Even after the injury, I thought he was still absolutely fantastic. He made a block to deny Matty Cash to almost certainly get Everton a point out of the game. Had he have not made that block, Matty Cash's shot would have been straight at goal and more than likely would have rustled the back of the net. So, yeah, he's made a brilliant block there at a really important time. And not only that, but overall defensively, I thought he was really solid today. Put in a really solid performance, and yeah, deserves a mass amount of credit. So he's getting an 8. Into the centre-backs then, Jared Branthwaite. I'm going to give Jared a... I'm going to give him a 7 today. He had a difficult afternoon dealing with a quite a potent Aston Villa forward line. Obviously, players in Ollie Watkins, who's been absolutely fantastic this season and one of their main threats. Obviously, Leon Bailey and Diaby as well there, who are really tricky, really good quality footballers. And I thought Jared done well. He had a couple of moments where he maybe looked a little bit... what's the word? He maybe looked a little bit rushed in his attempts to challenge, or a little bit panicky, but only, a couple of moments in a 90-minute game, not much whatsoever. For the majority of it, he was really solid. He put himself about well, he won the ball back well, he was really strong defensively, he never really allowed any of those Aston Villa forwards to get the better of him. He never really allowed any of them to, take it round him or expose him. I thought it was another really, really solid, strong performance by Jared. So, yeah, he's getting a 7. Tarky next to him, he's getting a 7 as well. Similarly, a couple of moments of rashness, I think, and moments where he seemed a little bit rushed. But only 1 or 2 in a game. For the rest of it, I thought Tarkowski was absolutely brilliant as well. Don't know why he received the yellow card for winning the ball. Makes absolutely no sense to me. He's literally won the ball. The referee's given a throw in, and yet somehow he's come away with a yellow card because Konza has ran after him and got in his face. Well, surely that is then a yellow card for Konza. How is that a yellow card for James Tarkowski? I'll never know, but I thought he was really solid today. Once again, another good performance, showing his strength, showing his leadership, showing his consistency as well. And yeah, I'm going to give him a 7. On to Seamus Coleman then, obviously back in the starting 11, making his 355th Everton appearance in the Premier League, which is more than any other player ever. Great to see Seamus back in the starting 11 again today. Great to see Seamus, getting the plaudits, the banner at the Gladys seat before the game was absolutely fantastic, and he deserves it. He absolutely deserves it. He's been a true custodian of this football club for a number of years, and his professionalism and the way he is as a human being and the way he is as a footballer is everything. That is Everton. He is Everton Football Club through and through, that man, and he absolutely deserves all the credit he gets. And today I thought he was really solid again. I'm going to give him a 7.5. I thought he put a really solid performance in. Nothing too special. Didn't need to do anything too special. Didn't need to do anything too fancy. But that's what Seamus does best, doesn't he? He just puts in those solid performances. Nothing too fancy. Nothing too over the top. Just solid defensive performances. And again, I thought today he was absolutely brilliant in doing that. Thought he was really, really solid, and hopefully we see him in an Everton shirt many more times, because I'm not quite sure I'm ready to let Seamus go yet. But yeah, thought he was really solid today. Phil makes a good point in the comments, says might as well have given McGinn the referee's whistle. He doesn't half moan him, doesn't he? I've never ever seen a footballer moan as much as John McGinn. Every single time anything happened in the game, I'd love to see his heat map and then compare it to the referee's heat map, because every time anything happened, he was just at the referee constantly to try and get a decision out of it. It's embarrassing, really. It's quite frankly embarrassing. He needs to focus a bit more time on his game than chasing referees around. But yeah, there you go. Into the midfield then. James Garner. Gonna give James a 6.5. Thought he was solid today. Thought he put himself about. Again, there's an argument to be had that we need more from that midfield as a whole, collectively. As I said last week, there's a lot of people that are quite opinionated when it comes to talking about Amadou Onana. And listen, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I'm not by any sense of the imagination saying anyone is wrong or I'm right or whatever. But whenever Amadou Onana has a game where he's not quite effective, or he's not quite great, or he doesn't quite do much, then people are constantly on his back and reminding him of that. But James Garner, it's not quite seen as the same way. And I thought James Garner played well today. I thought he put himself about. I thought he worked hard. I thought he battled. I thought he made a nuisance of himself. But I do think there's a point to be made about needing a little bit more from that midfield. But he was solid. He was solid against a difficult opposition. So, yeah. On to Amadou Onana then. I'm actually going to give Amadou a 7.5. I thought maybe, as opposed to Vitaly Mykolenko, I thought Amadou Onana was the best Everton player on the pitch today. I thought he covered pretty much every bit of grass that he needed to. I thought he won the ball back well. I thought he was good in the air. I thought he was dominant. I thought he was putting himself about. His sliding challenges were good. I just thought generally he had a quite a good game today. Wasn't amazing by any sense of the imagination and wasn't, completely dominant in the game. But considering he was coming up against a team that sit in the top four at the moment, I thought he was the best midfielder on the pitch for both sides. And that shows you how well he played. So, yeah, I'm going to give him a 7.5. Abdoulaye Doucouré, I'm going to give Dukes a 6. Thought he worked hard, put himself about. Obviously, you want a little bit more from him because ultimately the reliance is on him to create the chances. The reliance is on him to score the goals. So I understand that and I appreciate that. But I thought for his first game back in a few weeks, obviously coming back from an injury, it's never easy to just go straight back into the team against a decent side and to be expected to, produce magic. And I thought he worked hard today. He put himself about. He battled. I thought he was okay. I don't think he was as effective as we would have liked him to have been, but I thought he was okay. Forward line then, Danjuma, 6. I mean, this is a player who's been complaining about wanting to play more, complaining about not having enough game time, not being given a fair opportunity. He was given a lot of game time today, and I don't think he did much with it. He had a couple of moments, he had a couple of situations where he was lively in and where he was ahead of the play, but, got himself into good spaces, etc. He did play a really, really good ball to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, to be fair, which Dom should have scored, and then ultimately he would have had an assist from it. So I suppose you can't completely blame Danjuma for that. He made 2 or 3 really good passes, and they just weren't. Nothing was made of them. That Dom one is absolutely horrendous, as I've said before. But yeah, he was all right. He didn't light the world up, but he was all right. I give him a 6.5 on the basis that James Garner's got a 6.5, and I don't think he was brilliant. Jack Addison on the other wing, I'm going to give him a 6. I thought he worked hard. I thought he put himself about. I thought he battled, but at what point does that become the expectation? At what point does that become the sort of base level expectation of an Everton player? You get on there, you work hard, you run round, you put yourself about. Beyond that, I'm sorry, but I just don't think he offers enough. I don't, and I know people will come and tell me that he's got, X in goal involvements and Y goal involvements, and maybe it's just something I'm not seeing, but when I watch him on the pitch, in person, I just don't think he's offering enough. I don't think he's effective enough as a winger. It's just my opinion, but there you go. And then Dom up front, yeah, I'm going to give Dom a 4. I don't think he was great in the game in itself, not just that opportunity, but I don't think he was great in the game. Wasn't particularly effective, wasn't doing much, was running around, was chasing the ball, all the things you expect, but in terms of quality and product, he wasn't producing much. And then that opportunity for me is a golden chance that he absolutely has to do better with. Onto the bench then, Dwight McNeil, give him a 6.5. Come on, ran round, worked hard. And then Beto, I give him a 6 as well. Similarly, come on, put himself about, worked hard, but ultimately got nothing from it. So there you go. They are the player ratings. Let us know your thoughts on them in the comment section down below. If you haven't checked out our instant match reaction, please go and do so. It would mean a huge amount to me. We will be back tomorrow with the game review, so don't forget to look out for that one. But until then, big thank you all for watching. Leave a like if you've enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you after. Nice one for watching. See you later.